In this video, I'm going to talk about financial advice that I got from a millionaire. If you're new to the channel, my name is Jonathan Littlejohn, and we focus on making money, saving money, and building passive income online. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and enjoy the video. The first advice that the millionaire gave me was spending too much money. As us being just humans, human nature is whenever we make more, we tend to spend more. So what he advised me to do and other students of his to do is to make a number, what can you live with, and constantly try to grow that number, meaning your income, grow your income, but continue to just spending the money that you had when you didn't have that income. So for example, say if you only need $1,000 a month, all right, you are making $2,000 a month, you are spending $1,000 and saving $1,000, okay? Now this time comes around, you're going to make $4,000. Now you don't want to spend $2,000 and save $2,000. You want to still live off of that $1,000 and bank that $3,000. So that's what I mean by when he said, don't spend more money. That's the first mistake most people have, is spending more money. When they are making more, they spend more. So don't spend more when you're making more. The next mistake he says often a lot of people do is consumer debt, getting into debt. And what he meant by consumer debt is buying a car, getting into debt with credit cards. If you don't have the money to pay the credit card off, you don't need to use the credit card to get into debt. A lot of people, they're getting into consumer debt, just buying things and getting in debt, not being able to afford them, but since they have a line of credit with a credit card, they use it and then they pay the minimum balance. That's not good at all. So you don't want to get into consumer debt, he said. If you have the money, you can use the credit card to leverage, okay, and that's in another video, but you can use that credit card and don't spend your cash, because that credit card, you can get miles on flying, points, maybe if you go to a hotel, cashback rewards. So oftentimes it's better to use the credit card, but only if you have the cash to pay the credit card off every month, because you're not going to get hit with that interest if you pay that credit card off every single month. Instead of you paying the minimum balance, they charging you interest, and that's not good for you. And that's what he means by getting into consumer debt. The next one he said is he finds out a lot of people don't have emergency funds, and that's very important, and that really hit me because there's so many times that people are making real good money and say a tire goes out, and I'm like, man, just you make good money, you should be able to afford that tire. But what happens is they still get the tire done, but what it goes back to the last mistake is they get into that consumer debt. And they have to go and buy that tire on a credit card, which they didn't have money as an emergency fund stacked up to really pay for that credit card. So then that's getting them behind the 8 ball. But if you had a little nest egg, an emergency fund to protect you from any emergency, like a flattened tire, maybe your transmission goes out, have to get a new car, roof leaks, there's all kinds of emergencies, but you need to have an emergency fund. So then whenever stuff hits the fans, you don't have to use your credit cards. You can use your credit card, but you don't have to use your credit card. And that's the difference. When you have a credit card and you don't need to use it, but there's a lot of people that have a credit card and they have to use it. That's included in their living means. That's included with their lifestyle, because they have to use that credit card, and that puts them back into consumer debt. That puts them back in that rat race, living from paycheck to paycheck instead of getting free. That's the biggest advice the millionaire's ever given me, was being free. That's beyond anything, becoming free. That's the only way you can become free, is stack up. So always start having an emergency fund, even if you can only put $50 every paycheck away. That turns into $100 a month, turns into $1,200 a year. After 10 years, you're going to have a lot of money in there. So you just want to start. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to become great. You have to eat that elephant one bite at a time. A lot of people I know, they say, well, I need to have $2,000. No. Okay, you might need to have $2,000, but you don't have to have it right now. You start working at it. You start setting money aside. You create your budget and you say, you know what? Before I pay anybody else, I'm going to pay myself first and put money away into my emergency fund. That's how you're going to get ahead. That's how you're going to get free. So you got to have an emergency fund. I recommend having at least $2,500 in your checking account, your savings account, just to weather any type of storm at first. And then after that, go to 5. And then after that, go to 10. But still be able to enjoy your lifestyle and everything. I'm not saying to be real frugal, spending $100 a month. If you can enjoy life and still do that, that's great. But I want you to be able to enjoy life, enjoy the journey, enjoy the experience while you're going to your goal or to wherever you're trying to go financially, mentally, physically, whatever. I want you to enjoy it, but also budget and set money aside for an emergency fund. The next thing the millionaire gave me advice is there's so many people not contributing to their retirement. That hit me really hard because there's companies out there that you're working for. They have 401k programs, and there's a lot that they match what you contribute towards a company. So say, for example, you put $100 in, some of them are giving you 15% per 100 you're putting in to a cap. And after a while, that's 15%, that's free money. So you got to see what your company's being able to help you contribute towards your retirement with the 401k. But the next thing, what he really was saying with the retirement is being able to still have the lifestyle and having the income when you retire. Now that hit me hard right there, because say, for example, you're earning $100,000 a year, okay, and you retire, and with all your pensions and all your retirement, you're only getting $50,000 a year. So basically, you have to start living like $50,000. But what my mentor said is basically when you retire, you should actually have more money coming in than when you were actually working. And that was really deep. I'm like, wow, how are you able to make more money while you're retired than when you weren't retired and you were making less? And so many people, they look at it the other way. They make a lot of money, then they retire, they get the retirement check, and then they go back to work to get another job just to make ends meet at whatever they were making before. But like I said, just say, for example, make $50,000 a year, but when you retire, you're making $100,000 a year. So we'll have another video about how to do that. Just right now, look into your retirement, start setting yourself up for the future, figuring out how you're going to be able to make more money while you're retired than while you're working right now. Look into your retirement plans in your company. If you're working at a company, looking at different 401ks, stock investing, different mutual funds. There will be a link in the description that you can get hooked up with that. You can start putting $100 in every month or a paycheck into a stock that you choose, and you can start growing your financial freedom and your success right now. Another mentor of mine, he said, when is the best time to plant a tree? And he said 30 years ago was the best time to plant a tree. The next best time to plant a tree is right now. And that's the same thing for your success and your financial freedom. The best time was 30 years ago, but the next best time is to start planning for is right now. So start taking action. Start thinking about, how am I going to be able to make as much money as I am right now when I retire? Start thinking about how I can grow and improve my income every single year. Another great mentor of mine, she told me, you have to pay now or you're going to pay later. I like to change it up. Pay now and win later. And that's very important right now. Pay now. Let me say it again. Pay now and win later. And what she meant was, there's a lot of 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20, 21, 22, all the way up to 30. You know what I mean? What they're doing is they're having fun. They're like, hey, let's go out to the bar. Let's go out on vacation. Let's do this. Let's do that. You know what I mean? Let's spend all what we have basically and wait till the next paycheck. Let's live paycheck to paycheck. So then when they're 40, when they're 50, when they're 60, they're playing catch up. But what my mentor, what she was saying is, if you go ahead and pay now, you live below your means. You stack all your money up. When you're 40, when you're 50, you're able to win later. And that kind of goes back to my other mentor when he said, when he retires or when you retire, you're going to be making more money than when you were actually working. And that's the same thing. You're paying for your future right now. And that's what she was saying. Pay for your future now so then you can win later. Pay now and sacrifice what you're doing now so then you can do whatever you want to do later and whenever you want to do. I see so many people that are in their 50s, their 60s, they're working at fast food restaurants because why? Not because they want to, because they have to work there. You know what I mean? That's the difference. When you have to work somewhere and you want to work somewhere, that's totally different. So do the things that you don't want to do right now while you're young, so then you can do what you want to do when you're older. If you want to go to Europe, it ain't going nowhere. Europe's not going nowhere. So why not save up so then when you go to Europe, you can get everything that you want to get. Not go to Europe and then you get some stuff and then you're like, man, I wish I would have waited and saved up a little bit more. And then you might not even get back to Europe to buy that thing. So when you go over there, make sure you got a lot to go over there with. So pay now or win later. You got to pay now. That's what millionaires do. They sacrifice. They got to sacrifice now so they can win. You know what I mean? So many people, they live in that instant gratification. You have to be in that delayed gratification. Delaying success right now so then in the future you can get 10 times the success, 10 times the freedom, 10 times whatever you want. The last but not least, the mentor told me, constantly figuring out how to improve my net worth, my income, passive income, active income, just constantly every year trying to improve it. Because the thing is, if we're not constantly improving ourselves, mentally, physically, spiritually, any type of way, we're living a slowly dying life. Okay, if we're not improving, we're dying. It's simple as this. You know what I mean? It's simple as this. If the grass isn't growing, what is the grass doing? It's dying. There is no maintaining. There is no staying the same. It is slowly dying. So he advised me to constantly improve my net worth. It doesn't matter where you start, like I said before. It matters where you finish. Doesn't matter where you start, it matters where you finish. So if you're only making $1,000 a year, okay, let's try to figure out how to make $1,200 the next year. Or let's try to figure out how to make $2,000 the next year. And if you're making $40,000 a year, try to make, how can I get an extra $5,000? How can I make an extra $5,000? Constantly improve. Constantly improve. Try to get better. Get better. So if you like this type of video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. This is Jonathan Littlejohn coming straight to you, YouTube. Have a nice day. See you next time. Talk to you later.